Okay, let's unpack this. Today, we're diving into a story that really gets you thinking about home and family. Danielle Steele's novel, 44 Charles Street. Our mission here is to explore how a woman, Francesca, who's facing some serious personal and financial, upheaval, doesn't just try to hold on to her past. She actually rebuilds her life, creates this powerful new idea of belonging, often through really unexpected connections. You'll hear about resilience, unconventional relationships, and how sometimes letting go is really the way you find your way home.
Yeah, what's truly compelling, I think, is how the narrative kind of invites us to shift our understanding of home.
Hmm.
It stops being just, bricks and mortar and evolves into this vibrant community forged through shared experiences, mutual support, a collective spirit, especially when life throws those curveballs.
Right. And Francesca's journey, it kicks off at this moment of, profound crisis. You know her situation. She's 35, reeling from a devastating breakup with Todd, her partner of 5 years. He suddenly decided he's ready for marriage and kids, which is like the complete opposite of Francesca's view. She has this deep-seated aversion to commitment, and you really see how it's rooted in her own mother's, 5 failed marriages?
Exactly. That history looms large.
And they co-own this art gallery and this beautiful historic house at 44 Charles Street in the West Village, a place they'd poured their hearts into restoring together. But now Todd wants out of the business, out of the house by year end. So Francesca finds herself at ground zero, totally unable to buy him out of either thing.
And this initial setup, it immediately highlights how our personal histories, like Francesca's experience with her mother's relationships, can really shapes how we react to a crisis, right?
Mm.
Her fierce independence, which came from that past, it seems like it's both her greatest strength and maybe her initial blind spot when she's facing needing others.
Yeah, definitely. And as if the emotional and financial chaos wasn't enough, the house itself starts reflecting her life. This persistent skylight leak reappears, a problem Todd always handled. So now Francesca has to confront maintaining this huge property all alone. It's like a physical symbol of her world crumbling. So in her desperation, Francesca turns to her inner circle. And right away, you see this fascinating contrast in her support system, don't you?
Oh, absolutely.
On one hand, there's her stepmother, Avery. She's super practical, fiercely independent, built her own successful career. Avery, who, by the way, also helped Francesca's artist father find financial success, she immediately advises Francesca, sell your father's valuable paintings, buy Todd out. Yeah. It's a tough, pragmatic choice.
Avery's perspective is fascinating because it's so grounded, isn't it? She's less about emotional hand-holding and more about concrete, actionable solutions. She draws directly on her own experiences of self-reliance. It really forces Francesca to think about what she needs versus maybe what she just wants to hold on to.
Right. And then, on the complete other end of the spectrum, there's her mother, Thalia, the self-proclaimed Countess di San Giovanni.
Those Thalia.
She's incredibly self-absorbed, relentlessly critical, and holds these surprisingly old-fashioned views on marriage, despite her own track record of 5 failed unions. Thalia seems like her identity is perpetually tied to being married or hunting for a husband, and she openly disapproves of Francesca's choices, especially taking in roommates. Thinks it's déclassé.
The difference between Avery and Thalia just couldn't be clearer. It really underscores how critical role models and upbringing are in shaping how we handle life's challenges. Thalia's concern often feels like it's masking her own anxieties and, sticking to societal expectations, whereas Avery offers this empowering, practical advice.
Thankfully, there's also her father, Henry Thayer. He's this charming, easygoing artist, and he agrees to invest in the gallery. So with his financial and emotional backing, Francesca makes this really bold and frankly kind of risky decision. She decides to keep both the house and the gallery, planning to rent out rooms to cover the mortgage.
Which leads her down this very New York path.
Exactly. Finding roommates. And if you've ever tried to rent a room in the West Village, well, you know it's rarely straightforward. Her ad attracts this truly eclectic and sometimes frankly alarming mix of people. We hear about folks with questionable pasts, rehab, prison, people making outlandish demands, couples wanting multiple spaces, even these 4 lesbian couples who asked if Francesca would move out.
It's quite the parade.
It really is. It's this whirlwind of humanity, and it highlights the huge challenge of finding compatible housemates in a city like New York.
Well, and that initial filtering process, it's a great example of navigating information overload and risk assessment in real time, isn't it? Francesca has to quickly figure out who might actually fit, sorting the merely unconventional from the truly unsuitable. It's a challenge we all face in different ways when making big choices.
Absolutely. So out of this overwhelming pool, Three individuals eventually stand out, and they quickly become way more than just tenants. First, there's Eileen Flanders. She's young, seems very innocent, a special education teacher. Appears wholesome, but she carries this dark past, moved to New York after her ex-boyfriend actually tried to strangle her. Francesca gets worried pretty quickly about Eileen's reliance on online dating and her habit of bringing home a steady stream of men.
Yeah, there's a vulnerability there that's concerning.
Then there's Chris Harley. He's serious, quiet, a graphic designer. Yeah. Divorced, has a 7-year-old son, Ian, who visits regularly. He's very private initially, kind of withdrawn, clearly carrying his own quiet burdens. And finally, Marya Davis, a recently widowed chef. She's got talent, substance, and this wonderful sense of humor, a real contrast to Francesca's own mother. Marya quickly steps into the role of the house's resident chef, and her cooking starts bringing this incredible warmth, drawing everyone together.
What's really striking here is how these three people, each with their own, unique vulnerabilities and strengths, are pulled into Francesca's orbit. This isn't just about filling rooms. It's like the spontaneous start of a new social ecosystem. It transforms that simple landlord-tenant setup into something far more intricate and deeply meaningful.
Totally. And with Marya's amazing cooking as this new centerpiece, 44 Charles Street really starts to transform. It goes from just a house to a genuinely vibrant home. These roommates, who were strangers, start becoming this chosen family, a whole new kind of support system for Francesca.
But life is never that simple, right?
Never. Life, as always, has complications. Eileen's online dating continues, and she starts seeing this guy, Brad. Francesca and Chris both get this bad vibe from him, find him crude and controlling. After Chris actually confronts Brad about how he treats Eileen, something terrible happens. Eileen is severely beaten and strangled by Brad. Francesca finds her. It's just tragic, horrifying, and it casts this heavy shadow over everyone.
And this deeply personal tragedy for Eileen, it forces this powerful question about, the line between support and intervention. Francesca feels like a house mother, but she grapples with how much she can actually control an adult's choices, especially when you see these patterns of self-destructive behavior. Chris calls it Eileen's addiction to abuse, which really highlights the profound difficulty of helping someone stuck in that kind of cycle.
Yeah, it's heartbreaking. Meanwhile, Chris also starts to open up about his own profound trauma. His ex-wife, Kimberly, is a heroin addict, and his little boy, Ian, who's only 7, tragically witnessed her overdose. Chris is fighting tooth and nail for sole custody despite huge pressure from his conservative old guard family. They disapprove of his life. They want Ian shipped off to boarding school.
But Chris's commitment to Ian is just unwavering. It's incredibly powerful. And it's this beautiful redefinition of family, isn't it? He sees this diverse household at 44 Charles Street, with Francesca and Marya becoming these loving aunt figures as a supportive tribe. He believes it offers Ian a far better, healthier environment than his critical traditional relatives. His eventual legal victory for sole custody is such a pivotal moment.
It really is. For him, for Ian, and kind of for the whole house. On a lighter note, though, Marya finds this unexpected romance with Charles Edouard, this flamboyant French chef who's admired her for ages. His own marriage ends, and they start a relationship. They even plan to move to Paris and write a cookbook together.
Some joy amidst the difficulties. That's good.
Yes. And through all of this, Francesca's own healing starts. It's slow, but it's happening. After struggling with her leftover feelings for Todd and this brief, pretty uninspiring attempt at dating someone else, she and Chris, who were really just platonic friends at first, find themselves drawn to each other. Their bond gets stronger through the shared trauma, through supporting each other. It eventually leads to this really meaningful first date, and little Ian gives his enthusiastic approval.
And this is where you really see adversity revealing true character, deepening those connections. Chris and Francesca's relationship, it isn't just about romance, is it? It's about finding comfort and strength in that shared vulnerability, building something new out of all that hardship.
Exactly. But Eileen's tragic death, of course, it casts this heavy, lingering shadow over 44 Charles Street. Francesca is grappling with terrible guilt and grief. And Chris, drawing on his own difficult experiences, offers these insights into how some victims get drawn back to their abusers. It's complex.
Painfully complex.
But this shared trauma, however awful, it really forges this almost unbreakable bond between Francesca and Chris. Chris becomes her absolute rock, her unwavering support, helping her navigate the devastating aftermath. Their relationship deepens significantly. They start sharing Francesca's bedroom. And Chris, recognizing Francesca still under financial strain, and knowing she really doesn't want any new strangers in the house after Eileen, he generously offers to split the mortgage payment differently. He offers to pay 2/3, making 44 Charles Street officially their shared home with Ian.
That decision for Chris to contribute more financially and for them to live as a committed couple with Ian, it signifies such a profound commitment. It goes way beyond friendship or just being roommates. It's a powerful statement about choosing to build a future together, embracing the responsibilities and the shared life that comes with really becoming a family.
Absolutely. And despite this predictably stressful Christmas visit with Chris's very formal, unexpressive, old guard Boston family, the kind who just highlight how unconventional his life is now, Francesca realizes she's found her own, maybe unconventional, but true happiness with Chris and Ian. It's clear she's chosen a different path, and it's the right one for her.
She owns it.
She does. And ultimately, Francesca comes to this really profound realization. The house, 44 Charles Street. As much as she loved it, it just carries too much baggage. Too much from her past with Todd, but especially inescapably from Eileen's tragic death. She realizes she needs a fresh beginning for her new family with Chris and Ian.
And this is Francesca's ultimate girth moment, I think. She fought so incredibly fiercely to keep that house, didn't she? But now she recognizes that true belonging isn't tied to a physical building burdened by past traumas. It's about the people. The people she chooses to build a future with. It's such a powerful act of, well, emotional liberation, a clear statement of moving forward.
It really is. So she decides to sell 44 Charles Street. And surprisingly, maybe not, even with the disclosure about Eileen's murder, it sells quickly. Francesca, Chris, and Ian move into a new apartment. And that marks the official, joyful beginning of their new chosen family. So you've heard Francesca's journey. From battling to keep this house tied so deeply to her past, to building an entirely new life, a new family, and ultimately a new home. It's such a powerful narrative about resilience, about the unexpected ways connections form, and how even terrible tragedy can lead to a deeper understanding of what truly matters.
Yeah, if we connect this to the bigger picture, Francesca's story is this beautiful reminder that home isn't necessarily a fixed address,
Right.
not walls or a specific building. Instead, it's more of a dynamic space, maybe physical, maybe emotional, where safety, love, and that unwavering support reside. And it's built by the people within it, often people you choose, and sometimes people brought together by unforeseen circumstances and, yes, shared adversity.
Which raises an important question for you, our listener. When you're faced with major life changes, how might letting go of what you thought you needed actually make room for something even more fulfilling, something maybe you never expected? And how do you define family when the world throws you one of those unexpected, life-altering curveballs? The deep dive into 44 Charles Street really shows us that sometimes the hardest goodbyes truly lead us to the most authentic hellos, and that home isn't just a place, but the people you choose to build a life with.